I'm just going to play here.
So, you want to make more memories that stick? Stop scrolling. Start roaming. Pier is waiting. There's so much South Dakota, so little time.
Oh, speaking of time.
What's up, dude?
For the row. You know what? I think it's time for the noon hour show here. We had a microphone stand bust there, so we get to share.
So we get to
get to share the microphone. Yeah, love that. Yeah, there's just nothing more fun than getting really close. Interesting day today. When the whole day started, I was going to pop that up too, and I thought, nobody's going to care. It was fiddling on the windshield like crazy. Had to use the wipers, and went to take off. I think the rain kind of slowed down. We went to get breakfast. It started to snow. Yeah, it started to snow, and then it turned into rain. And then we finished breakfast, and then we've been out in the park, steamboat here, just kind of fiddling around. I sent invitations out to 4 or 5 different boats, so hopefully they'll pop along here. Andrew said, well, what are you going to do if everybody's busy and nobody comes on to watch or be a part of it? And I'm like, well, we'll have all kinds of people watching. Yeah. It's just that we won't have any live boat action if everybody else is out there doing what they're doing. Now, we did get one picture, so we know that people are catching fish.
Go back to, do we have a limit?
Looked like it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a limit of fish. He's got wave fish, so he's probably holding out.
I'm going to say that by that picture, there's some decent fish, probably 17s, 18s, right? Would you want to look at that again just for giggles?
That one that's got the back out of the water in the middle looks pretty decent. That might be an 18-ish, but
16 to 18.
Knowing who he is, don't want to let everybody know who he is right now, but I'm guessing he's holding out for 2 overs.
I would guess that's probably the situation. I did hear from some folks that were out fishing, and I guess I don't know if I'm supposed to say it or not, so I'll keep the location quiet. But there's some fish popping out there, but these are not tournament people.
Okay.
So here's the good thing. Even though they're not tournament people, that doesn't matter, because if the regular average fisherman is out there catching them, then I think our tournament guys should.
Well, you did some interviews last night with a few guys, and I just, mingling around the rules meeting, it kind of sounded like pre-fish was tough.
Yeah, super tough. There were a ton of guys that didn't even get a chance to pre-fish. So, that's kind of hard to gauge what the day's going to look like. Although you can't ever figure it out by pre-fishing anyway, because fishing the day before could be different the day over the next day.
So, I think as your interview with Harry Decker last night, and he's like, last time pre-fishing hurt this bad, we did good in this one. So, I mean, let's hope that that's the case when we see some fish come across the scale. Like you said, we went from 97 record high on Thursday, to not very good yesterday.
Well, 90 to snow. I mean, literally, because we had snow this morning. But the interesting thing there.
But we had a colder day yesterday, so it wasn't hot to cold.
Right. So we didn't have that instant front coming through. We're a day removed from that front coming through, which is great. Oh, there it is.
Absolutely,
Jason. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's a nice, they have data stabilize a little bit. And the thing about it is these guys that haven't, practiced, it just came in and winged this one, maybe a day on the water, maybe not any days on the water. It's sharp.
I was just going to say that. I think, and not that I'm the greatest fisherman or have fished sharp that much, but I think if you're going to have a fishing tournament on a body of water where you're not going to practice at all, sharp is a good one, because there's just a ton of fish out there, and all you got to do is go fishing. Now I'm not going to pop the video up. I should have done a still of it too, but there's a ton of boats, like you said. We see a ton of boats jigging, taking advantage of the current in there, and that doesn't surprise me. I saw the boats So I had to walk 100 miles to go get that video real quick. And then I had to walk 100 miles back. Well, at least it felt that way anyway. But
he walked to Mobridge and back to get the video.
I mean, you're right. It was amazing.
That was the train trestle in Mobridge, actually.
Yes, it was. We're using B-roll from other cities. No, everything is from Pierre. And we should mention the Pierre Area Chamber of Commerce. The 4th annual Sharpe Showdown. This one's always kind of fun, just because the weather always sucks, and you never know what you're going to get. But here's the thing: because the weather is always kind of iffy, so to speak. The cool thing is we always get surprises.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's the thing is, last year we had the NWT the 2 days prior. Then we went Saturday, Sunday. They went Thursday, Friday. We went Saturday, Sunday. And, Bobby Crow came in with 2 big fish. And I told you what the weights were going to be. I was a couple pounds off.
Right, yep.
And because he had 2 overs. But I called exactly. Somebody's going to weigh a big bag one day.
Always happens.
And then they're going to weigh a mediocre bag day 2 or vice versa, right? I mean, that's sharp. So it's such a fun fishery. We don't know what's out there. We've seen Tyson first year, second year, he came in with a big over.
Right.
Big over. So, I mean, they're out there. There are unicorns. I'd say there are more unicorns than Francis Case.
I would say I would agree. I think, but, by going by what people are talking about and what they're saying. But, the cool thing about Sharpe is it fishes more like a river, right? So you've got your current. So really, does it matter if the wind is up or down or if it lays flat? I don't think so, because you've got your current, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the water's low.
Oh my God. Matter of fact,
we got a comment here, so
it doesn't matter, but okay, Casey.
Yeah, thanks, Casey, for chiming in, and congratulations on the wedding. So
yeah, that's kind of, we did have quite a few people that missed out, but because the river's low, I went snooping a little bit, and I did find a silver. So Jason, you should appreciate that. Maybe someday we'll get together and do some of that metal detecting stuff. But yes, so the big sticks, here's the cool thing. And I didn't really realize it till last night, the rules meeting, is those big sticks that everybody's not afraid of, but you still in the back of your mind, like, I got to beat these guys. These guys are hard to beat because, they're out there, they're fishing, they're winning, they do their deal, and they're really good at it. And we don't have that contingency of anglers.
I mean, not taking away from our sticks we have in this event.
No, not at all.
The Deckers, Thompson, Skippers, Coles. Yep. I mean, Pazur, the list goes on and on of good fishermen in this event. But if everybody knows Pierre, there's a couple names that ring true, like Tyson Keller. And unfortunately, Tyson is at his grandmother's funeral. So our sorrows, our sympathies out to him.
No doubt.
We talked to him quite a bit. He was trying to make everything happen to get in, but
that's hard to do.
That's hard to do, right?
Yeah,
funeral stuff like that. So, we miss him, but Dewey's not here.
Right.
McCumsey's not here.
Yeah.
Drew Schutz isn't here.
Yeah,
Justin Sieverding ain't here.
Exactly. I mean, and that's the crazy thing. The list goes on and on and on and on. And obviously, McCumsey's not here. Matt Sheets isn't here. So we got all these anglers that aren't a part of this. And it's a smaller field. It's 34 boats. But I was talking to a buddy. He's like, "Wow." So why would anybody fish that kind of tournament? I think I mentioned it in one of the interviews last night. The weight doesn't matter. The winning weight matters, right? Yeah. Whether you win with 7 pounds or 57 pounds, you still take home the check.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess I heard you say the top check was.
Oh, the total amount I don't have it off the top of my head.
Split out. Okay.
I do, but I don't have it on top of my head.
Gotcha.
$12,240
total, and you're paying how many places?
5.
5. Okay, so
it's going to be $6 grand for first place. $500 for big bag today.
Okay.
It's all by the sponsors the chamber brought in. So anglers did not have to pay extra to get into that. The biggest bag of today is getting $500.
Yep.
The biggest fish of today is getting $500. The biggest fish tomorrow is getting $500. And the biggest bag tomorrow is getting $500. So we're at 14,000. I don't know what was in for side pots. Didn't get a chance to look at that. The day money. So I'm betting we're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of that $15,000. And it looks like we got
it's Hank Asher. Hey, what's going on out there?
a whole lot of nothing going on out here. Not
Really?
a lot.
Okay, so you're talking a little bit on the slow side. How's the water's pretty decent? You can pretty much do anything you want, right?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't really traveled down south. I'm not really sure what that water clarity is looking like, but as far as in the town area, it's all in play.
Okay. Get something pop off there quick?
I don't know.
No.
Just making sure. I gotta give myself a little hope sometimes.
Do we have any fish in the bag right now?
Two. Okay. There's plenty of time. You got less than 3 hours. But
Yeah.
There's time.
Do you anticipate you're gonna make a big jump?
I think we'll get our 5. And
Okay.
as far as once we get our 5, then we can go and try and get some better ones. But right now, we're just worried about that 5 number.
Yeah, well, that 5 number is going to be paramount to taking home a check. If you don't have 5, I think it's going to be pretty tough because you're not going to find 5 big enough tomorrow to make up for it.
Exactly.
All right, so casting. Have you done the gamut? Have you tried the trolling thing?
No, yeah, there ain't no troll. There's not a plug in here.
Oh,
No planer board, no, none of that.
no bouncers, no nothing. You are
No, none of that.
all right. All right, you're
So-
chasing fish. That's what you're doing.
We'll just keep your camera on for a little bit. We'll let you fish. If you get one, make sure you show it to us.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna show it off.
We'll mute
How's
you,
that?
and you guys go ahead and fish, and we'll mute you, and then you should be able to hear us. If we talk to you, you can come back and
Okay.
and answer back. So, all right, you're muted. You go fish, catch fish. All right, so there we go. You know what? That's what's fun about having cell service because Chamberlain makes it super tough to get anybody, and frankly, the Gov Cup makes it tough too because you got guys and gals, you got anglers running up and down, and all over, and we just don't have that service like we've got right here. So the cool thing is we got Hank up front with a live scope, and I wondered if he wasn't just going to go chase one fish at a time.
I think that's Hank's game. He's a big scoper.
Right.
My question realistically is if he has a shoe on his foot. Because he cannot run a trolling motor with a shoe on last summer. So he has one foot that is like he's stuck it in a tanning bed, and the other one is like as white as it gets because he wears a shoe on it. But he's got a sock.
There we go. All right, see.
I got a booty on. I got a waterproof booty on, like a diving booty.
That's the got one sock on then.
Yeah, the wool sock isn't really waterproof. I'm glad. That was one of my favorite Christmas presents. Was the diving booty, whatever they call it, just a waterproof neoprene sock.
Yeah, that may look at the comment. Mom's in the game here.
So
Emily, how you doing?
So I mean, Hank never has a shoe on his foot. I'll catch him all summer, and he's like, shoe off. You can't run that trolling motor with a shoe on. So
I'm a one-shoed pirate.
Yeah,
I can't run the foot pedal, so it's pretty.
Well,
crazy.
you better get back.
All right,
to
we'll let you back to
fish.
catching fish. All right, so there we go. Well, that's the fun part of this whole deal. You know, these guys are busy fishing, doing what they got to do, and they're still. Hank is a stick. He's a ton of fun. He's the captain of the Midwest Walleye Challenge, and I felt a little stupid because I had 3 nice.
You're blowing
fish.
up.
I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm blowing up about. It's the Snapchat stuff. He's the captain of the Sully County, so I'm on the Sully County team, and so I felt a little bad when we were down in Chamberlain, and I let 3 fish go without weighing them and putting them into the.
A little bad. You were. You were kind of devastated with yourself.
It was a 15 to 17 and 20 and a half, and like, you know what, that was 3 nice fish, especially because I see people putting 13s in there. You know, like, oh, come on. And I didn't put I had a 13 and I didn't put the 13 in. But then I ended up having 5 more fish. So I felt pretty good about at least getting on the board there, right? But Hank's out fishing all the time. And it's going to be fun to watch him. And I hope that they get on something there.
Tuesday night partner. Yeah. So there's a great little Tuesday night league in Pierre. And I think 19 teams go out. It's been going on for a lot of years. I think Cody Hausler is kind of running it nowadays, but it's a good little thing that every Tuesday night for I don't know how many weeks they fish, but it's kind of fun to watch them and see what they do. And, takeoff this morning, we take off out of Downs Marina behind the hospital. And if you've ever been to Pierre and seen the area, you got to pretty much run a long shootout and then make your turn to go up or down river.
Is it like a little longer than a mile? Is it almost?
I don't know from takeoff to where they got to get to. We should look that up on the map. We'll do some measuring for tomorrow's show, but it's quite a shot, right? It's quite a shot down there. But one team spun and went behind their boat, and that was a pretty known spot last year in the NWT. And
I noticed it right away.
Yeah. Like you watch them, like they come by our takeoff boat and they just turned and went backwards. So I've seen a lot of people back when we had the Rumble on the River. We did the weigh-ins down in the parking lot by Downs. We set up a tent. The fire department did. And I watched a team, Justin Sieverding, he won it that year. He was out there waiting. This pre-live scope. He's out there waiting, and he just happens to pop his side scan on and see all these fish right up next to the takeoff. And he looked at his partner and goes, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a fun little boat ride. And so they ran up to the bridges. Turned around, came back,
made it look good,
and pulled plugs right there and one Rumble on the River. And we watched them fish 100 yards from the setup,
which is pretty crazy. And I watched this morning because I was metal detecting, fiddling around, and that position didn't last long. I'm guessing that there was nothing there, and I don't know if the lake is down. I'm watching Oahe all the time because I'm on the radio in Mobridge, and everybody wants to know what the waters, how the lake's doing, and it's been down because on Friday it was at 1,600 feet and 2.5 inches. Well, it had been at 1,603, I think, for a short time there this winter. But it was hanging about 1,601, 1,602. So it's down a couple of feet.
Yeah, but the big difference on Oahe and Sharpe is that this could be down, let's say, 3 feet today.
Right.
By weigh-ins, this thing could be back up 3 feet. So Oahe is the last hold reservoir on our system.
Right.
So that can hold water. Mm-hmm. After that, Sharpe, Francis Case, Lewis and Clark all have to pretty much release what comes in must go out. So wind driven, it happens big time here. If we get a north wind, it'll push water down south. Yep. You don't really see that on Oahe as much because how big and deep it is. It's shallower here, so it'll push water down south. And if they're not pushing any water out of that dam 6 miles north of town, the thing will drop if they're pulling from Fort Thompson. And if they're not and you get a north wind, it'll pull. So,
it's just pretty interesting.
Yeah, we got a couple comments that came in. But, yeah, so we've had it to where, we're setting up down there, and Kendall's out there setting our pumps up for the live release. And he's like, I'm going to put it here. I hope the water doesn't come up. He's lived here his whole life, so he knows that I can put the pump here, and by the time we start weighing in, we better figure out a different area for the pump. So we moved it to a safe spot. But, it's one of those situations like, oh, that could go bad quick.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
Carson, how's the shuttle working? Come on, Spanky, catch a big one. Don't let me down.
I think it almost looks like it's down about 4 feet.
I'm going to say 3. That was my guess, was 3 looking at it. Don't know the river as much as I know Lake Oahe. I can tell you when there's a point out. I can tell you kind of what, the difference is we're talking, 1602, 1603. That's elevation level for people to understand. Right. So they measure Lake Oahe by the elevation. So I have an app called River App. It's great. You just click on the map, you click on River App, and you click on Lake Oahe Dam, and it'll tell you. But then when I look below the dam, it's like 3.5 feet and 7.8 feet. And I'm like, okay, I'm lost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too.
The elevation, I can at least understand that, full pool is 16. I had this memorized in 2011. I think it's like 1623 or something. That's flood stage. But yeah, so that's full pool. That's like splashing over the emergency spillway full. But operating levels, like I think 1605 to 1608 is what the core normal operating level is. And a lot of people are so used to that super high water we've seen on Oahe from 2011, 2010, 2011, 2009 or 2008 was our historical low, lowest it's ever been. Some of my friends up the road have irrigation, and they literally in the back of the creek, their irrigation pump was out of water.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
And
so it was 1590 something, wasn't it?
I don't remember what.
It wasn't. I don't know that it was a ton lower than the 1600 feet
It's
we're at
quite a
right
bit.
now. It was
Quite a bit, yeah.
So maybe it was in the 1580s then.
So it's been way down, and they told him it'd be 10 years to fill back up. And 2009, their pumps were they had to have some issues to get their pumps up to where they could actually irrigate again because they kind of silted in. But then they, so in 1 year it came up enough to put their pumps back underwater to pump water out of there. And then everybody knows, that was 2009, 2010 it got high. They released, and then 2011 happened. We flooded the town of Pierre, flooded everything south of here. It was a disaster. But yeah, so you can understand the elevation level, but where you understand the feet, like I don't like, like I can look at 1600 feet and know if it goes down to 1602 or it goes down to 1598, it went down 2 feet. If it goes up it's up 3 feet, right? Yep. Where if it tells me 5.7 feet, I don't know what it's supposed to be at normally, so I don't study it enough. So Junior's got a comment here. Hank has been training. Carson to be hot young guns. Yeah, absolutely,
no doubt,
absolutely. I mean, Hank is mad at him. He's our young generation that's mad at these fish. And
he's always holding on to a big one, right? Yeah, a nice big over. And he does.
Just because he has 2 right now, I'm not worried about.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that either. It's early enough. I think the other thing that's interesting too, I don't know that people really understand that Oahe is constantly up and down, but it's inches. You can have Lake Oahe at 1,600 feet 8 inches, and in the morning it's 1,600 feet 3 inches. 3 hours later, it could be down 1.5 inches. It could be up another 1.5 inches. And I didn't really realize that it went up and down like it does. I mean, it truly just ebbs and flows very lightly, which surprised me because I just thought it sat where it sat. And then when they started dumping water and things started moving, then we had a change. Now the one thing we're not really gonna see any change in the water level except going down because we got no snow coming into Fort Peck. I mean, they got nothing in Montana.
In the 2011 flood, we had a ton of snowpack in the mountains. So the 2011 flood happened, and a old boy that used to live up by me at Spring Creek he goes, I'm an old engineer. So, the flood, the core, there was issues with the core. They didn't communicate good enough. People in town are very upset by what the core did. But this old boy looked at me and goes, do they realize that the amount of water we pumped out of Lake Oahe, it was 190,000 cubic feet of water a second for 3 months
on the water.
The one guy told me basically at that time, the Dallas Cowboy Stadium was the newest stadium built.
Oh, yeah, right.
So, and he said if you'd have put Oahe Dam above that, it would have overfilled it in 5 seconds. That's how much water was coming out of the dam.
So amazing. Think about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best way to put it, right? I don't know how many gallons it is. I used to know the amount of gallons that was coming out, but that old boy told me, he goes, do you realize we drained Lake Oahe twice? Yeah, completely drained Lake Oahe twice. But the other big thing that was the contributing factor is they were a little high on their winter runoff, which it wouldn't have mattered anyways. We'd have flooded regardless. But during the middle of the runoff, we literally had like 14 inches of rain in Minot.
Yeah, that's right. That was that big rain.
We got that big rain during that runoff. So, I mean, we're not out. I mean, everybody's so worried about that we're going to be, low. We probably are, but we could have, and that was Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, we could have 3, 5, 7, 10, whatever.
So if we get a wet May north of us.
Anything can happen.
And I mean, that's all the way into Montana.
Right.
And it all depends on what dam system has preference this year to hold water. I don't know. I thought I heard it this year, and I could be completely wrong, so I shouldn't even say it, but I heard Oahe has preference to hold. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not upset by the low water, because if you've driven around the shorelines of Lake Oahe, the vegetation that's growing up, when this thing does fill up, we are going to have a banger year class of fish.
I think that even the perch, because of the way perch spawn, the way they reproduce, all those saplings and all that stuff down there are just going to be ripe for spawning perch. And there are nice perch and there are nice crappie in the river. We just don't catch them like crazy, but it seems like a few get caught, and the other thing, from my perspective, I've been coming out to Oahe fishing since 1997. So fishing a couple of times a summer until 2015. You get out here and the water's still quite high, right? After 11. And I honestly don't know where it was at, but I see the marks on the 212 bridge. And obviously we're down quite a bit, but the thing is, I had enough fishing time where now I'm understanding the points, the inside turns, some of the rock piles, and some of those things that were holding fish. Now I understand them even better
because you can see them.
You can actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's changed there now is some of those places aren't going to produce fish like they would have had they been barren. Because now they're going to have you've got all this structure under there with trees and saplings and bushes and different things. Even some of the rock piles now are going to they've got saplings and different things on it, right, and all that stuff. So it's going to fish way different if it comes back up another 6, 8, 10 feet.
But and that's the thing. Sharpe, what's here is here. Right. There's really no vegetation. You can get trees, but you got to run to Joe Creek. That Joe Creek area is full of those trees. And it'd be really interesting to know if any of our guys are down there, because that's a great ice fishing spot.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people talk about Joe Creek.
Russ Hansen's chiming in.
The Yellowstone Basin received 10 to 14 inches of rain 24 hours. 90% of the flood, it took 6 weeks to reach pier.
So
yeah, right. Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah, so if you look at that, so that's really Russ. We had a high snowpack, we had a high water year. Coming into 2010 was a high water year. They didn't get the runoff, they didn't get the release like they wanted to, or they thought they were good. But then you get that bigger rain, 10 to 14 inches in 24 hours, and 90% of the flood. Yeah, 6 weeks it took to get to pier.
Did I say Big Stone? Because I saw Stone and said Big. I don't. We're talking the Yellowstone. Because I thought, I'm like, okay, the people are. If I said Big Stone, they're going, wait a minute. There's no connection there to pier. But Yellowstone.
But in the flood of 2011, changed the river down here.
Yeah,
down
right.
Below.
I didn't really realize that
till sandbars up.
Right till you
pushed up different. The different routes. It's similar, but the silt. I mean,
still different.
Lake Sharpe silts in from the dam pushing, so that all kind of changed. The causeway that's right over here, that little path that you go out to the island where the culverts come through, that blew out in 2011.
Oh, it did completely
blew out.
And they had to rebuild it. Yes,
and they had to rebuild it because that's actually the natural flow of the river. Actually comes down, hits Fort Pierce side, and churns and comes through there. So this actually behind here is the actual natural flow of the river.
Okay.
But to bring in the La Framboise Island, they put the causeway in and push the water. I mean, it was an island, right?
Yep,
but the natural flow came this way. So when the water was coming out at such a high pressure, it blew it out. So that's changed. That's kind of where that spot back here is. People go back to the hole because it's a hole that was created by the flood. And but it's kind of changed. You get down there. There's some people are so scared of Sharpe. Take your time. You can get around Sharpe. It's not that. I mean, if you think you're going to run it wide open the first day you're ever on it, you better have really good mag chips. I was talking to a guy. He's like, when I run Sharpe, I run a dock sonar chip, and I run my Navionics chip, and I have two 16s on my dash. I don't even put my 2D on, and I just run by those.
Right.
And I stay in the channel, and I don't have a problem.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, I guess, anytime I've been out here, you follow that track in the channel, and as long as you stay in the track you made,
Yeah.
I mean, you're in good shape, and it's still kind of nerve wracking though coming through here wide open because I don't know. I mean, you never know.
Yeah. Well, I can tell people the biggest thing is, we're so spoiled with Lake Oahe that, if you're running, you got a trail laid down and you miss it by 50 feet,
Not a big
9 times
deal.
out of 10, you're fine.
Although there are a few places where people don't know. I got caught in a situation like that back in a bay where I did not realize that the bar came out as far as it did, and I had a buddy wave me down, and then I cut in front of Eric Brandwright because I'm like, well, I don't know what the hell to do. I gotta do what I gotta do, and he puts his arms up, and I turned around and he texts later. He goes, "Was that you that blew past me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry." And I'll tell you, he made me feel bad, and he was just joking. He didn't care. He just did. He's like, yeah, that was Chase and Walter. Yeah, well, I'm going to make him feel really bad. So yeah, he and his dad were fishing. I did. I felt like a dipstick, but I was having problems with my boat motor. Hence the reason I got rid of
you repowered it. Yep.
The 125, the 2-stroke, and went with 4-stroke. But there just, you have issues, you get boat issues, you have different things, and you're not paying attention. It happens to all of us. I was out fishing the Whitlock area, and the 4 guys in a boat come blowing between me and shore. And I always get a kick out of people that come between someone fishing shore wide open. And I watch this, and I grab my phone real quick, and I'm like, I gotta get this. I have to get this. It won't be long now. And they're all, yeah, they're all waving at everybody out. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. And they smoked that rock pile that I knew they were going to smoke, and I'm like, sorry guys, it just, you do have to be careful. I mean, even when you're along the shore, in 100 feet of water, you can do whatever you want out in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you run a line in the middle of the river and Lake Oahe, you can miss it by 50, 100 feet. Lake Sharpe.
Yeah,
you better be. You just got to tighten up. You can't miss your line by that far.
Yeah, whole different story.
So I mean, it's not, like I said, it's such a fun fishery. It's not a normal day. It's 100 fish days. I mean, it's not hard to catch fish down here. It's a fish factory. It reproduces
lots of fish,
like a lot. And it grows fish very
good eaters.
Good eaters very fast.
Let's just pop back. I mean, these are nice fish.
Yeah, so it grows very nice fish pretty quick, but it just doesn't have the forage to get them big.
Right.
It's a gizzard shad lake, and we don't have the smelt. We don't have the herring. I mean, they come through, but excuse me, I got the hiccups. Not in abundance like Lake Oahe.
Well, I think Lake Oahe's got deeper water. It's just it's a completely different system.
Yeah. Well, right? And that's just it. Like, we talk like the nice part about living in central South Dakota, Mobridge, Pierre, Chamberlain, you got North Oahe, 212 North is a completely different fishery than 212 South.
Yeah.
And then you have Lake Sharpe. You got the upper half Lake Sharpe compared to the lower half. So there's 2 more different fisheries.
That's awesome.
And then you got Chamberlain. Yep. So I'm gonna cough, and I'm gonna step out here and see what my phone's going on. I'll be right back.
Oh, and then you have Lewis and Clark, and that's a whole different animal. I know the Oahe thing just, for years I was jealous because I wanted to fish the Columbia, because I wanted to catch a 10, 12, 14 pound walleye, because I just couldn't imagine the big fish like that in a system. Think about, that's big fish, that's old fish, right? And then all of a sudden, after a flood, high water, the whole 9 yards, the water starts to come down, it comes down, it comes down, it comes down. And now that gives us the opportunity to fish the way some used to fish. Because years ago, right? Think about the number of anglers, the number of boaters that were out there fishing over the tops of trees to catch nice big walleye, right? They were pulling lead core or doing the weights and doing the snap weight thing. And they're getting down there and catching an occasional 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pounder. Well, now water comes down on Oahe, and hello, live sonar. Now we've got this ability to go in and target these fish.
I hope Hank's phone's secure because it looks like he's moving.
Is he? Yeah, I see. Yeah, he's talking about hang it loose.
We're going mobile.
All right. We'll see you guys.
You hit it. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
So yeah, so I think that's one evolution that has been amazing. And I guess it doesn't matter whether it's Francis Case or Sharpe or Oahe. We've got those submerged trees.
Yeah.
And we knew that they held walleye. They've known it for how long? Because you've been out here longer than I for decades, right?
We were pulling spinner baits through them on Oahe,
through these trees. And I remember years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you've got all these guys that are running from Brookings and all from eastern South Dakota. They're going out to Chamberlain, and everybody's pulling cranks over the trees, right?
Well, that's the thing about Joe Creek. A lot of the trees are sticking out of the water.
Yeah, right.
Right? So you can see the tops of the trees. So it's not like we're fishing over the trees. You're fishing in the trees down there. So it's kind of, I don't know if, I shouldn't say this because I don't know if anybody does it, but it would be interesting if anybody pulls the trees down there because, they break off with the ice. But there's some that are, motor getters barely under the water to all the way through the water, so it's a different thing. But you got Iron Nation, you got all these different areas that hold trees. And we know fish like trees.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
And then you get down to West Bend and, you got the Big Long Island out there and you got the deep water down there by North Bend. So it's such a different fishery. And these guys can go anywhere they want on this lake with one tank of gas.
Yeah, right.
As long as they get there and back on one tank of gas, they can do it. And a day like today was a great day to make the run. I did when I stepped out, I had to answer a call, and a team did say we've had every weather. We got rained on, we got snowed on, we've gotten a little everything. So it didn't sound like the fishing was the greatest for that team. But yeah, so they've had a little bit of every sort of weather out there possible. But I've fished Sharpe with a gentleman on Easter. We went out we went and had brunch with the family, and then went out and ran to him at brunch, and we jumped in the boat in the afternoon. And Nick Harrington was out, and you could watch Nick Harrington's videos he put on Lip Ripper. But he was Nick was telling me, like, we pulled up to a spot, had side scan running, and there were fish pods everywhere. And we threw everything but the kitchen sink at them. Shiners, fatheads, plastics, jerk baits. I mean, you named it, and none of them would hit. So we come down from that spot, we go up to the next spot, same thing, fish everywhere. I missed like 4, he missed like 3 in that spot. Like you get them, you set the hook, you get like 4 cranks on them, they'd be gone. Let go. Or sometimes they'd hit it, you'd set the hook, and there was nothing there. They're all short biting, everything was super short biting. So we come down, move down river closer to the bridges, pulled in the hole. Like his 3rd cast, he had one. My 5th cast, I had one. I missed another one, he missed another one. But I was talking to Nick that night, and he's like, dude, it was 1 fish or 2 fish, and get out of the spot.
Oh, sure. They were.
1 fish. I mean, you'd see hundreds on your side scan, but if 1 or 2 fish bit there, leave. Move.
Yeah, that's why I swear.
You can come back to it, but you had to just continuously be moving and getting out of there. And we were jigging. Nick was pulling cranks, and he said he went up to the same spots we were, told him where we were at, and he's like, dude, there were fish everywhere. I couldn't get him to bite. I tried to pull cranks through him. I tried everything. It didn't really matter. So
I think they talk.
Yeah. But it was like he said, you catch 1 or 2, most of the time 1, and then you go through there again, they'd still be there, and you wouldn't catch a thing. You'd move, you'd leave that alone for 20 minutes to an hour, come back, and it's boom, they're on them. So you just kept having to jump spots, and you're going to see a lot of guys I've been watching out there. You just see guys zipping up and down, and there's so many spots. That's a kind of cool thing about the Sharpe Showdown is there's so many spots from here to the dam that you never have to leave town. I mean, I guarantee drive across the bridge, and there's out of 34 teams, not saying they're all in our tournament because there's plenty of weekend fishermen.
Yeah.
But they're right out here fishing.
Mm-hmm.
They're right out under the bridges. That's my favorite thing about Pierce, South Dakota. Anytime it's above freezing and the wind's down in the wintertime, there's boats on the water. Sure. We can boat fish this year round. And there's a few days it's got to get pretty cold. I mean, in the frigid sub-zeros
To glaze
to
over.
freeze it over, but it's open as soon as it hits in that low 20s and they're running water, that thing's wide open and guys are back out in their boat. Pier's got a very unique event called the Winter Fishing Weekend. You can fish from shore, boat, or ice.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
And you can go
in the
anywhere,
middle of winter.
and you can go anywhere. And, there's been a couple years now since I've been around and since it's been an inception that the guys can actually fish Lake Oahe because the southern ain't frozen.
Yeah,
This year was one of them.
That wasn't a nice year.
Yeah.
It was a frustrating year, though. 70 degrees since the end of February, but it went from 70 to snow, 80 to snow, 90 to snow.
It was like working outside in the summertime and you got to go in the beer cooler to change the kegs every other day.
Yeah, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. For those that I see, we have a few new viewers, so we are seeing fish out there. Here's a good look at one, and this is only the one picture that we received so far.
So surprising. So much more to enjoy. So pack your bags. Pier is waiting. There's so much South Dakota, so little time.
Well, that was I was going to have him do a commercial, but I guess I accidentally I cut you off. But there are some fish being caught. We've heard, Hank's got 2. We got our team that's got 5 because we got at that point when you got the picture was 5. So I guarantee you we're going to see some fish across the stage this afternoon. The teams have to be back in at 3 at Downs Marina.
So we're a little less than 2.5 hours away, so there's plenty of time for fishing.
They've got to trailer from Downs Marina to Steamboat Park. It's a couple-minute drive, but I'm guessing 3:10, 3:15 we'll start weigh-ins today. And, we'll probably, as soon as we start seeing teams pull up, we might, you might pop in. We're going to hold till we get some teams here so we can keep a nice steady weigh-in. No early weigh-ins. The scale everything's ready to go, but the scale isn't turned on yet. So we've been down here working. The girls at the chamber got the park looking really good with all the banners and everything up. And it's a lot of fun to be able to collaborate like that. And, we got a couple chamber events. The Mobridge Chamber, Denny Palmer's coming up on the 13th of June. So you can look at our website and go to theirs and sign up. The information's on thefishingcrew.com. This is I think this is event 3 of 15 this year.
Yeah, wow, you guys are super busy. I'm glad to be a part of a few of them. It's kind of nice.
We got a bass event next weekend on Big Stone. So if
you're going for that, right? You're gonna go.
We're hauling this over to Big Stone. We're gonna show them guys how the fishing crew does it on Big Stone with the big trailer, and hopefully get some Minnesotas and guys in. And I'm honestly excited to weigh some bucket mouse.
Yeah, honestly, I wish I could catch one. Next weekend is the weekend for me to catch my 30-incher. I'm gonna, somewhere.
You're manifesting it, huh?
Yeah, right. I'm gonna get that dirty 30 finally because it's driving me nuts.
Have you ever got dirty 30?
No, everything has been 29 to 29 and a half. I have. I don't know how many.
Honestly, what did you call your fall fishing a couple years ago?
My fall eye.
Your fall eye.
Yeah, the fall eye.
I don't care. That one fish you caught. That little stubby 11-pounder or whatever it was.
So it was 13. It was just a hair over 13. It was 28 inches.
Yeah. So I would be more excited about that than a dirty 30.
I was, but the thing is, when I got it in my net and I put an extension on my net, and when I picked it up, it was so heavy. My rotator cuff, my shoulders are bad, so I can't. So I reached out with my foot. Well, when I picked it up, it bent the extension that I put on. I'm like, oh God, I got my 30-incher, and I'm pretty pumped. And I got it up and got it out of the net. I pulled the hooks out and I laid it on the truck bed. I'm like, this thing's 30, and I stuck it in the trough. And I went, oh, it doesn't even fit in the trough. This thing is huge. And I look over and I'm like, no way. And so I set it in the trough belly wise, and it barely fit in there. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what I do. I can't make it 30. It's 28 inches. That is what it is.
28, 13-pounder. It was, and you had some goofy looking fish.
Well, and that was, so the thing with that season a couple of years ago, I was catching fish and I started weighing them, and I'm like, wait a minute, something's off here. So I started to measure, do the girth and do the length. And I'm like, every one of these fish is heavier than the typical length, right? So I catch a 24, they're supposed to be 4 pounds. No, it's 6.5.
Yeah.
And so
that's what happens when you're fishing below Chernobyl.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Well, so the crazy thing is I had 4 10-pound fish that did not measure over 28. They were 27 to 28 inches long.
Yeah.
Actually, I had one was 26 and a half and 28. And it was the craziest, most weird thing. And I learned a lot about fishing that year, which translated into catching fish on Francis Case off the dock 2 weekends ago. Because there's the thing, and Nate, Nate's like, he was so mad. He couldn't catch anything. He was using my rod, same reel, same money badger, same line, same.
I knew it was coming. I'm just sitting here waiting for the word you were going to say.
Oh, the money badger word? Well, see, but and I'll stop there because I am the one guy with one walleye secret, and there's a secret to it. There is a thing to it, and I figured that out a couple of Novembers ago, and it was amazing. Anyway, the thing that I think I learned is that not all fishing's the same, right? Not all crankbaits are the same.
No.
You do have to you can still catch fish. Go ahead and pull a crank at 2 miles an hour. I don't care what brand, you're still going to catch fish. But I guarantee if you can nail down the nuances of each and every one of those crankbaits separately and use them at the right speed, you will catch more fish than you ever thought, because not every crank is obviously right. They're not built the same. The rattle chambers are different, right? And so the crazy thing there is you got a different action on every one of them. Well, if you're pulling everything and they're all just doing whatever they're doing, you're not getting the fish's attention in the right way that the crankbait is meant to. And I had no idea, but it has translated numerous times. And I guess that's the thing that a person's got to pay attention to. If you're going to just go out there and cast and crank.
Well, it's like we took you down below the dam and threw on finishers, right?
I had to learn that whole thing.
It took you a little while to figure out here below the dam on the shore in the fast water at night throwing finishers.
Yeah,
and you were getting frustrated there for a minute.
I was getting
everything you know about fishing kind of goes out on that style, right? Is how you fish those down there, and we're catching them, and you're like, "What do you?" And I'm like, "Just quit." Like just be dumb for a minute. Like
Yep. It was amazing. So with that whole fast water like that, I had to drop that thing into the current, and it had to follow downstream until it hit the eddy, and it had to just die, and bam.
Yeah.
And if that sequence was off, nothing.
Yeah.
And you could almost predict every time
you knew you hit it,
because you could literally feel how that finisher was making its way through the water. And I started visualizing, which I'm sure it was whatever. It was probably wrong, but I would see it as I felt it, and then all of a sudden it get to this point where it's almost practically gone, and then bam. So, and here's the other thing, that the weird thing that these baits have in common is Dan Spangler.
Yeah.
Right. And so you've got Dan creating these baits, and I truly think that he's creating baits that
for you
simplify. No. But what I think happens though is he's creating a bait that simplifies fishing for a certain fish in a system. I mean, the crazy thing is you can use a finisher for anything, but there's a certain way to use it.
Yeah.
You can't just throw it out, crank, and retrieve. We're with a jig, I guess I'm kind of learning that you work a jig differently. I mean, for the longest
different
time.
style headed jig, right?
Well, right, yeah.
You throw a Ned to, my dad's favorite, my favorite growing up, and if I could ever get him, I begged Wallner when he was at Northland to get the original black lipstick jig back, because that's all swear it was the day they came out with Chartreuse black or lipstick jigs back in the day. Like I think my dad contemplated selling the boat when he couldn't find black lipstick jigs anymore, because that was our go-to vertical jigging black lipstick jigs. And then they came out with Chartreuse, and it wasn't good in the Underhill household growing up. I mean, that was a major crisis in our house when they got rid of them with the Chartreuse. And then they came back out with them, but they had a white back head, and he did not like that. So, I mean, I do not have any. I would love a set just to hang on the wall for nostalgia. So if anybody's got some black lipstick jigs out there, I would purchase them from you. Being new in the case or not, I just want them for nostalgia, because I haven't seen one in probably over 20 years. I have orange. I have a pair of orange. Yep, orange Chartreuse.
But you paint them black, and it's not the real thing. You got to have. We tried that
black one, and the skirting's got to be the same and everything. But we're about 50 minutes into us rambling. We appreciate everybody hanging on. We better grab a little bite to eat.
Yeah, I think we better grab a snack. And frankly, I think, because I sent invitations to quite a few boats, and I think maybe they're just concentrated on fishing. And it was great to have Hank.
Yeah.
And
we'll get some more on tomorrow, hopefully, for the live feed. And thanks for all your comments, and thanks to everybody for chiming in and watching with us. We appreciate it. And we'll be back for the live show this afternoon with the weigh-ins.
Yeah, so we appreciate Hank and Carson popping on, and everybody that's commenting and all that fun stuff too.
And the Pier Chamber of Commerce for having this event.
Oh, no doubt. It's great. See you back here at 3.
Sometimes the best way to recharge is to simply unplug. Pier is waiting. There's so much South Dakota, so little time.